Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Kaz and I'm a channeler and a healer. I'm just changing up my format on some of my videos a little bit for a number of reasons. Firstly, so that you can see that I'm a real person. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell. I've also realised that throughout my time working in this field, have downloaded a lot of stuff that isn't mainstream, and I just wanted to start sharing that with people, because otherwise it's just sitting around in dusty old notebooks or in my brain, and the word about them isn't getting out there. So I've got a few concepts that I haven't seen other people use, and they're on various things. So it's just little things that have struck me at times, and it's usually when I'm in quiet contemplation or something will just suddenly hit me. So I'm claircognizant, so things will just basically pop into my brain. Sometimes it's a concept, sometimes it's words. I'm clairsentient, so I can feel things. So when I'm doing my healings on people, I will feel in their body where they've got blockages, because I can feel it in my body. So for instance, if someone's liver is under stress, I will feel it in my liver. And then I can shift that energy for them. So I do have a lot of knowledge that I haven't shared with people, and I thought it was about time I did it. So as the thumbnail says, today we're going to talk about energy clouds, and this is something that came up some time ago for me, and it was just a concept that popped in. The year before last, I was filming a series on world peace, and what came in when I was looking at that, because I was remote viewing the globe as a whole, and I was seeing black spots over the globe. And what they were areas where conflict or massacre had happened. And some of these were ancient, so some of these may not have been in recorded history, but there were areas of denseness where the energy needed to be cleared. And following from this, I got that we are all walking around with clouds around us that we have created through our own thoughts, our own speech, and our own actions. So usually it's done when we've got energy attached to it. So if we suddenly become angry about something, it's usually because there's something deeper underlying it. Anger is a surface emotion that's usually triggering something deeper, whether it's hurt, betrayal, abandonment, not feeling worthy, whatever it happens to be. The anger usually masks it. So when people erupt, it's usually something else going on. So we form these energy clouds when there's emotion attached to the thought, the speech, or the action. So let's just say that we're waiting for a parking spot and someone pulls in front of us and takes the spot we're waiting for. And that would trigger a reaction in a lot of us. So what we then do is we send up an emotional reaction or a thought cloud. So it's like, this bleeping guy, who does he bleeping think he is? That creates a dark cloud, okay? Because it's full of more of your angry emotions, or more on what was termed the negative side. Because emotions are on a sliding scale of, pure joy to absolute devastation. So there is a sliding scale. We slide up and down there all day long. So we are also putting out lovely clouds as well. So let's just say that we see a cute little puppy frolicking in the grass. That's a lovely image and a lovely thought that someone will have. Oh, isn't that so cute? So it's one of these things where we are constantly putting things up here if we're having an emotional reaction to them. Considering that we have up to 6,000 thoughts per day, some of these things we might think once and then discard, but some of them are persistent and consistent. So let's just say that somebody looked at themselves in the mirror one morning and thought, oh boy, I'm getting old. And that may then be a persistent thought. Oh, look at me, I'm getting old. Oh, look at me, I'm getting old. And then comes a feeling with it of, I'm not worthy because I'm old. And so then it then becomes a dark thundercloud, because it's actually got attachment of energy to it, and because it's actually got an emotion attached to it. So advertisers use this with us as well. They use their emotions within this. So let's just say that there's a nice shiny red car. Now, cars are neutral energy, but they might show someone having fun with their family in the car, or someone attracting partners with the shiny car. So suddenly there's emotion to it, and that is then what drives you, out to go and maybe purchase that car. So we are bombarded daily by things outside of us that are setting off cascades within us. From an energy point of view is where I'm coming from, because I see and feel energy in my work. So what then happens is we gather these clouds around us, and over time they will dissipate. If you spend a lot of time in nature, they will dissipate naturally. And you know that if you're having a really bad day and then you go out in the sunshine and go for a nice stroll or a walk, you actually feel better, or go and sit down on the grass somewhere, you feel a little bit better. So nature can help dissipate this energy and these clouds. So there are ways to actually release some of these things. So what if we're constantly being bombarded with negative things, or people are saying things that really, really trigger us? What our thoughts and feelings are then doing is just popping all of these clouds up around us. And as we walk around with these clouds, they attract people with similar clouds. So let's say that you're really angry because a neighbour keeps parking in your parking spot. You're going to come across people who are really angry because something keeps happening where they park their car. And then you may be driving along and get into a road rage incident with someone with that sort of vibration too. Because most people can't see energy, they just have no idea of what they're putting out there, and like attracts like. So if you're internally saying to yourself, I'm so dumb, I'm not as smart as they are, they're really smart, I'm really dumb, what you're going to attract is people into your life who will tell you you're dumb and will tell you you're stupid. And it's not really the truth, it's your perception of the truth. And so then what you do is you attract people in with matching clouds that come to you and say, you're really silly, or you're really stupid, or your opinion has no value. And this is what we go through life with. So what we can do is learn how to release some of these things. And I'm going to talk about that over on my website. I'm going to put an extension onto this video there, and you can go there and view it. And this is part of the new format that I'm trying as well, because I don't get paid anything by YouTube at all, and I have over 1,300 videos out there. So I'm just trying something new to drive traffic in a different way. And if you value these videos, you can pay a small price just to watch the extension of it. If we as individuals are walking around, and it doesn't have to be directed at anyone else, it could be directed towards ourselves, okay? If we don't think much about ourselves, then imagine that times all the people in your family, all the people in your suburb, all the people in your city, all the people in your country, all the people in the world that are thinking this. And that becomes a really dark energy covering the world. So let's just say that a lot of people think that they as humans are not worthy people. So then the collective energy becomes humans are not worthy. And so you can see it not only has a great effect on you, it has a great effect on the planet if we're thinking really negatively, consistently about ourselves. So you may physically give a lot to other people. You may give your time, you may give your energy, you may give your sympathetic ear, you may help friends a lot and things like that. And then something happens to you where the world suddenly seems unfair. But when you step back and look at it, you're a really giving, helpful person, and you think, Why do bad things happen to good people? And it's really because of the energy that you're emanating, that you're putting out there. So you're walking around with your little clouds above your head, and if they're mostly dark, you are more likely to have things happen to you that you wish probably didn't happen to you. And this can be rectified. There are plenty of ways to rectify it. And some of you are probably already doing this. If you're watching this video, you probably have some ideas on how to do this. But when we're looking at it collectively, sometimes we become quite judgmental. So let's use the example of someone stole my parking spot when I was just about to drive into it again. Then you might be watching some footage of two people on the freeway getting into a punch up, okay? So that is obviously their stuff as well, but it triggers you. And it triggers you because you've got this cloud of energy that's associated with that. So when we delve underneath that, what's there? And this is where you need to be working. What's underneath this emotion? Is it, I'm not worthy enough to have the free parking spot? Or I always give to others and leave nothing for myself? It can be any number of things there. So then when you go back in and have a look at that and work on that, because it is a lot of work that's involved in that, you start to put out healthier, whiter clouds. And so you attract into your world people with little fluffy white clouds around them. And so you have good experiences and they have good experiences when you have encounters. And I have an example of this. This is going back a few years. I walked into a shop and just said hello and just was looking at stuff. And I went to purchase something, went up to the counter, and the salesperson said to me, "Oh my gosh, you're so happy." And I'd literally spoken 2 words to them. And I was thinking, how do they know I'm happy? And it's because I was putting out the energy of happiness. And it wasn't because anything fantastical had happened in my life. It was just the way I was living and vibrating in that moment. And it's such a prime example of how we can all live our lives. And it's not always easy to maintain. And certainly there are going to be bigger things that come through in life. And we start being pulled back down into the energy. But really, the more of your own stuff that you clear, the better and easier it becomes. And you'll see that through the outside world reacting to you. So if you feel, let's just say you're in a situation with a group of friends and some of your friends are really triggered by something that's happening in the world, and you're feeling very neutral about it and you're just not invested, that doesn't mean that you're not thinking the same way as your friends, or you can't be friends anymore. What that means is that you've already dealt with that stuff, or you've never had that trigger in the first place that drags you into something. So it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. What it means is you're fortunate enough not to have something that creates a black cloud of negativity. I've sat back in plenty of conversations where people were really adamant and vehement about things, and I'm thinking, why does it matter so much to them? Because I wasn't actually invested at the time, but now I understand that better. It's just because it's not triggering me in the way that it triggers them. Okay, I'm just going to pick a crystal from one of my big bowls of crystals here and just see if there's any further messages on energy clouds for us. Oh yes, okay, so we've got Merlin. Merlin normally likes to be outside. I'm obviously not outside today. He's just coming forth and saying that this is a really simple way to understand that what you put out emanates from you. And you may be surprised to see what can be achieved in a really short amount of time if you work on these clouds. You can actually do a bit of a sweep through the clouds and use your own hands to just sweep some of these ones away that no longer resonate with you. So that's a really good tip there. All right, and I'm also being heard that if you do like to communicate with your guides and with the angelic realm or spirit or whoever, the universe, whatever you want to call it, that the more dark black clouds around you, the harder it is for them to communicate. And especially if they want to, just say you've been asking for a gift from the universe. So especially if you want to receive something, it's harder for them to get that gift to you. So it's one of these things where you really need to keep sweeping it through and keep clearing it on a regular basis. Okay, that's all I have for this part of the video. I will have a part 2 on my website. I will put all the details below. There will be a small fee to access that, but there will be some valuable information there for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the format, and I will see you in my next one.